So as said before, the extended depth of focus lenses have now taken over, and the advancements in the lifestyle demands uncorrected good visual acuity for all distances. Extended depth of focus IOL provide not only better quality vision, but better contrast and better nighttime vision, unlike the diffractive type of multifocal lenses. They definitely provide a better intermediate performance and less scatter of light. Now, EDOF lenses have been classified by Aleo and et al. As pure EDOFs and hybrid EDOFs. Now, a pure EDOF is which uses primarily just a spherical aberration or a pinhole effect, whereas an hybrid EDOF can be classified as a refractive EDOF or a diffractive refractive EDOF or a diffractive EDOF like the Symphony IOL. So Lucidis falls into the classification of a refractive EDOF IOL, where it has got a +3 add in the center, which with the pseudo non-diffractive beam technology provides the EDOF. So types of EDOF have also been classified: EDOFs with rings and EDOFs without rings, because rings are the ones which produce halos and glare, and a lens without rings is not producing halos and glare is quite important, and the neuroadaptation for the patient becomes easier. So in the first generation of lenses without rings, we were able to have EDOFs predominantly for distance and intermediate. The second generation of EDOFs without rings were able to not only see for distance intermediate, but now also for near. So a hybrid EDOF is supplementing or complementing the EDOF functioning and extending the spectrum of vision to provide a good near vision, because EDOF technology per se can only impart say around 1 to 1.5 diopters without significantly affecting the quality of vision. So as discussed before, this is a hydrophilic platform which has got a central lenticule of 1 millimeter and which imparts the refractive component as well as the pseudo non-diffractive beam technology, or the EDOF, this thing. So it's a blend or a hybrid EDOF which provides distance, intermediate and near, continuous and clear vision. So as described before, we have a patented technology of instant focus and pseudo non-diffractive beam, which is unique, and this overlap is from near to intermediate zone, which is unlike the other EDOFs. So we did a small study, and to best of our knowledge, there are no detailed reports available about the visual outcome and higher order aberrations in eyes implanted with Lucidis EDOF IOL, especially in Indian eyes. So this is a retrospective study from January 2020 to March 2020 till the COVID lockdown was put in. We studied 48 eyes. A comprehensive preoperative assessment was done, and a surgical planning was done using the IOL Master 700 and the Virion image guided system. These were the inclusion and exclusion criteria. All eyes with ocular comorbidities were excluded, and preoperative astigmatism more than 0.75 diopters was removed from the studied group. All surgeries were done by myself. Phacoemulsification with a clear corneal temporal incision of 2.8 millimeters with a capsular rhexis size of 5.5, and implantation of EDOF IOL in the bag was done under irrigation. So we studied, the patients were examined in the OPD after 12 hours. A vision slit lamp examination and non-contact tonometry was done on the first visit post-operatively, and post-op eye drop regime, steroids, NSAIDs, antibiotic, lubricants and systemic antibiotics. This all went on for 5 weeks. So the outcome variables were measured at 1 month. The uncorrected distant, intermediate, near visual acuity was seen. The spherical equivalent refractive error was calculated. An internal higher order aberration for 6 millimeters fixed pupil was calculated. So overall data of 48 eyes was reviewed, out of which 5 eyes were excluded due to missing data and a history of ocular comorbidity. 48 eyes of 28 patients with a mean age of 63 plus or minus 6.5 years, and 20 eyes subjects were implanted bilaterally. Sorry. So if the preoperative data was analyzed, we found that the K values were almost near emmetropic eyes, around 43 on an average, axial length again around 23.93, ACD, and we had also measured the angle alpha and angle kappa. The uncorrected distant vision in 87.76% was 6/6. The intermediate vision was very good. It was N10 and N12 in majority of cases. And again, N6 vision in 87.76 patients. So the uncorrected distant, intermediate and near vision was very good. Binocular visual acuity, we achieved a summating effect because of binocular summation, and almost 100% of eyes were 6/6. So this was interesting even on the intermediate vision front as well as the near vision front. So almost all patients who were binocularly implanted were independent of glasses for distance, intermediate and near. And the most important highlight, the point even I would stress, is treating the refractive error. If we hit the sweet point of plus or minus 0.25, then the lens behaves very well. Correcting the astigmatism is also the key, because a residual astigmatism of even 0.5 diopters or a 0.75 diopters affects the near vision quality. Now, talking about the role of higher order aberrations, we found a negative spherical aberration of minus 0.1 diopters, unlike previously said that this lens is a neutral to spherical aberration. And we found the total higher order aberration not marginally raised around 0.51 microns. So the MTF and the contrast sensitivity was very good in photopic conditions, comparable to a monofocal lens. So we have a lens technology which is able to give clear continuous vision for all distances with a very good contrast sensitivity, almost equivalent to a monofocal lens. So this was comparing the defocus curves, and as you can see, the defocus curve is quite flat, and what we found that the defocus curve was from 0 to -1 very flat. I would say around -1.25 very flat. So it is this lens, if you err more on the myopic side, it is more friendlier, and the vision, distant vision acuity does not fall down, and in fact erring a slight on the myopic side helps you even in the near vision. So with the Lucidis IOL, most of the patients achieved excellent visual acuity for all distances, and those who had an uncorrected of 6.9 improved to 6.6 with a correction of plus or minus 0.5 diopters. The design blend of distance and near intermediate zone is smooth. So I did not come across any patient complaining of glare, halos, night driving problems, or computer reading activities in dim light. So talking about, there's a question raised about angle alpha and angle kappa, but we had a patient retrospectively when we analyzed who had an angle alpha of as high as 0.8, and he did not complain at all. So I think angle alpha and angle kappa, the concepts are there, but practically when you see, they don't affect the vision so much, or the patient is happy with this particular lens. We also observed a binocular summating effect in few cases who were implanted, and the effect was very prominent at distance, near and intermediate distance. So factors to consider is that neuroadaptation is practically not required, which is a major concern in the multifocal IOLs, which is sometimes time consuming and individual dependent. The EDOF technology cannot provide more than 1 diopter or 1.5 diopters. So a mini monovision or a blending the other eye with a diffractive multifocal is advocated with other EDOFs. But to my mind, when you have a hybrid refractive EDOF technology like the Lucidis, we do not require any mini monovision or any blending or mix and match. So to conclude, this Lucidus IOL has the ability to see clearly and continuously at all distances, causes no dysphotopsia, tolerant to high angle alpha, angle kappa, ability to work in low light, as good contrast sensitivity and light distribution. And I would just share a small video of my Lucidus toric IOL implantation, which was incidentally the first toric implant in India. So this is marking the axis. I use the keratome edge to mark and indent the cornea. I implant the lens under irrigation. And with ease, you can implant this lens in the bag. And using the Virion image guided system, the alignment or the final alignment of the lens is done. Yeah, definitely you have to irrigate the visco behind and before the lens, which is very important as Dr. Kumar described. Thank you so much.